Well, I am excited to hear Hannah Adamson this morning. She's done a lot of work with junior achievement, and she's going to tell us about the new facility, I'm sure. So I'm excited to hear her presentation. Just an introduction. Anna Adamson is the director for junior achievement in Northwest Georgia. She's a past educator and a mom of Hattie, a sixth grader, and Liam, a second grader, Christian Heritage School. Anna's passion is community development through a focus on education. Her dream for Northwest Georgia is to connect its business and education communities to strengthen the region's economic growth while simultaneously changing the trajectory of the students' future. So let's give Hannah a warm welcome. And
I go without a mask if I stay far away from everybody, I promise. No, guys, thank y'all so much. I know a lot of you were able to be in attendance when we met. Gosh, I guess that was about 2 years ago when we first embarked on this journey. My goal today is really to share mostly about this project itself, not to tell you about what we do with JA. I know many of you are very familiar with our mission and just seeing what we're going to get to achieve through our Discovery Center locally with the 13 districts and close to 13,500 students served throughout Northwest Georgia. We just could not be more proud of where we are in this process. If you had told me how the project would go when I started about 2.5 years ago, I'm not sure I would have signed on the dotted line. It has taken turns, but the fact that we are here together to see our business community come alongside us, and then our school districts, we had the support from DPS, but then to garner that same support from the 13 districts that it would take to run at full capacity was a heavy lift. So we are well with our progress there and just excited to share more with you guys. So when we speak about what we're doing with our Discovery Centers through the lens of JAUSA's mission, of course, it is workforce readiness, it is financial literacy, and I think I'm creating a problem on that.
somebody keeps unmuting. I'm going to mute it.
Okay, perfect. And financial literacy is at the crux of what we do. We're a little over 100 years of an organization, JAUSA, 55 in the state of 70 in the state of Georgia, 55 locally, and still our mission is the same. But what our Discovery Centers do is allow us to really put our focus on that middle school age. The reason for that is really coming from both our school districts and our business partners to land at that age where we really get the most bang for our buck in supporting our students through their academic journey. Of course, we all know, all of our elementary school students, they love school for the most part. School's fun, it's a happy place to be, but then you enter into that middle school arena and it gets a little difficult. I have a sixth grader at home right now. I understand the academic demands pick up with our students and what are we doing in school and how does that correlate to my future possibilities. So that's the reason behind that, that focus on really reaching all of our middle schools. As a goal for the state of Georgia, we are looking to reach 90% of our middle school students through our JA Discovery Centers. We are, with our first 3 facilities, we are already a third of our way there. So the fact that we're adding on this additional 13,500 students locally in the Northwest Georgia region. And then Savannah is right behind us in this project, opening up their facility on the old Armstrong campus that's now Georgia Southern's campus. And so they will be serving approximately the same number of students, closer to about 15,000. That 13,500 number is really a 2-part estimation. One is who falls within that hour radius of our facility. So we know, DPS knows, Whitfield County knows, Calhoun City knows that 2 hours to and 2 hours from our facility in North Georgia on a bus, a school bus with middle schoolers, is not something we want our educators to have to do. So really making sure that we fall in that hour range. We feel like that was a feasible travel distance without putting too much, pulling our students really outside of the classroom or causing them to shorten their experience on site, because we are looking at about a 4 to 4.5 hour simulation. And then finally, the workforce really weighing in and saying that even when our students are coming out of high school or going on to some of those post-secondary educational options, they still are coming into the workforce missing some of the skills that they need to not only get that job, but to be successful in the job once they come on board. So that goes back to what the role that we get to play at JA is, and it's really being that liaison between the school community and the business community. I think we often have a misconception about how our business community wants to engage, and I think what we have found, and once you look at our committed partners, you'll quickly see they are committed to our education community, but it really needs to be in that a turnkey approach so that they can engage and really be effective, not only with their resources, but also with their time. So we run two programs out through our facility, and one is the 6th grade program, that's JA BizTown, and then we have a 7th or 8th grade program, which depends on where it falls with standards in each school system, but that's JA Finance Park. So in 6th grade, they're learning how to make money. 8th grade, they're learning how to spend it wisely. They're running their business for the day in BizTown, and then in Finance Park, they're visiting all of those businesses and actually researching what that budget line item looks like as part of their own personal budget, and ensuring that they are making good decisions financially based on the research that they do in that experience. So this video that's coming up is from our North Georgia facility. I know a lot of people have probably seen it in parts, but I think it's always fun to see the children interact in this video in particular. This was our local Boys and Girls Clubs. We did a 2-day experience last summer with all of our clubs, and we partnered with the Near Boys and Girls Club for this experience. They did 1 day at BizTown and 1 day at Finance Park, and they actually did all of the curriculum that we do in the classroom in our school systems. They did it on site at Boys and Girls Club last summer. Did I do anything special to display?
You may have to do it on your screen.
Okay.
JA Discovery Centers offer students a 360-degree learning experience that brings relevance, authenticity, and application to the traditional academic setting. JA BizTown and JA Finance Park provide middle school students the ability to experience their futures firsthand. At JA BizTown, students are given the opportunity to go to work for the first day. They're actually given a role, and they have duties to implement in that role, anything from a sales associate all the way up to a CEO and CFO. They're working together as a team to run their business, get it off the ground, sell their products, pay back their startup loan. The Discovery Centers are incredibly important to the learning that's taking place for the students, not just back in the classroom, but here. We give them 20 hours of curriculum to prepare for what it is they're doing here, and we want to continue that learning process when they arrive on site. The students really get to get their hands dirty, use the information that they've started learning in the classroom, and really put it to use. JA Finance Park is an authentic simulation where students experience their financial futures. Guided by their life situation, students apply knowledge gained in the classroom to make routine budget decisions, ultimately building skills to confidently navigate today's economic environment. The Finance Park students are really getting a snapshot of what their financial future may look like. We give them a life profile, so they're able to figure out, okay, with this much education, I can achieve this much of a salary, and they're able to start connecting those dots. And then they're making choices that we make as adults every single day. So they're figuring out, how much can I actually afford on my rent or mortgage? Can I actually afford to buy a home, or do I need to rent? Can I buy a car? You know, they're going through those budgeting steps that we do as adults, and they're finding out that while it's very exciting to have their own money, they also have a lot of responsibility in being sure that they are managing it correctly. The coolest thing is probably how we're getting to make our own money. Like in a kid, we have to ask somebody for something, but in this, we can make our own life and pay for our own things. Other than that, you really have to work for your money. The simulation infuses authenticity with real brick-and-mortar businesses that represent a breadth of industries, both locally and internationally, that students already interact with in their day-to-day life. Volunteers bring relevance to the experience, providing guidance in their own personal stories from from simply being an adult in the real world. So we'll take it step by step.
The Junior Achievement Center has been absolutely transformative for our region and our community. It is an incredible part of economic development. We're building great business people here, and that is a really important talent pool to have in our community that creates really meaningful opportunities for generations to come.
JA Discovery Centers give students the opportunity to really experience their futures. They are exposed to careers and pathways that they may have never even known existed before. We're really giving the opportunity to open their eyes to what kind of future they can pursue.
So I think Zach Adamson is going to send me to Simulation Daily in Finance Park as opposed to raising money for our facilities moving forward. But all joking aside, it really is such an impactful program in both Buzztown and Finance Park, and we're just so excited to welcome our students at full capacity. Some have been going to the North Georgia facility. But just as a reminder, from those of you who are not familiar, our first facility was actually opened in the Georgia World Congress Center. That was funded by the Chick-fil-A Foundation and serves predominantly Atlanta Public Schools and portions of a couple other school systems. Gwinnett County Schools actually utilize SPLOST funding for the building of their facility. They, of course, as we all know, such a large school district and serve solely Gwinnett County schools. And then the third facility that I was mentioning, which you saw in this video, is actually our Mike and Lynn Cottrell Discovery Center. That was opened in 2018 through a gift from Mike and Lynn Cottrell, who've been very involved on UNG's campus. And they really had worked a lot with the college to understand that still there are some missing components that the students were not receiving early enough to ensure that they were as successful as they could be in the college arena. And that was really the reason for their engagement at that middle school level. And of course, there you see us up in the corner, in the far left-hand corner, that will serve our Northwest Georgia students. And when I mentioned our strategic goal, where we would need to go from here, obviously Savannah opening will reach the coastal region, but then you start looking at areas to get North Metro, South Metro, and then other places where a Discovery would be needed to meet that 90% goal that we have set our sights on. You see that semi-permanent plan that works a lot across the country to where it's actually a mobile JA Buzztown and Finance Park. So that's a really great concept for areas that don't have the population density to support a brick and mortar space like we have. And I always like to bring it back to what was really the mission for our community. It has to work for each and every community. And I think once you look at our committed partners, it really does indicate where our focus is as a community in the greater Dalton area. Of course, we are focused on that education partnership to our businesses to ensure that we are strengthening that talent pipeline. And, you know, community pride is one that I just think does not need to, that needs to be recognized, because it really showcases that we have really put importance on really having a state-of-the-art learning facility in the Northwest Georgia region. So we're very excited about that. So this is actually the renderings from our facility. So here you're seeing our freestanding facility on Hammond Creek's campus. This is the 6-7 middle school for Dalton Public Schools. They graciously gave to us the structure that we then get to build out our facility. And so we're excited not only to be a part of that campus, because it's very conducive for a Discovery Center to reside on a school campus. We have a lot of the same needs, whether that's security needs, whether it's the bus schedules that we have to work with. All of those reasons make it a really great fit to be on a school campus. But it also allows that freestanding structure so that our community can use this facility for its purposes outside of just the simulations and the programs that we run. So when you enter our facility, you see right here, this is a gathering area where our classroom and our faculty staff area is. And then that's what enters into what we call the red carpet tunnel. That's the grand reveal. That's where students actually come into the Dalton community and assume that role that they're playing in the businesses that day. So when we talk about storefronts, we're talking about everything that is on the exterior of this facility, with that courtyard being in the middle. That's where our students will gather in the morning. It's where they eat lunch while they're on site, but then they go to their storefront that they're assigned to play out their role in simulation that day. This is the gathering area where all of our students enter in the morning. The grand reveal is actually going through the doors of the train opens, the caboose of the train opens, and that is what allows the children into the simulation space. And then the grand reveal, of course, they are looking into the park, and they are seeing their whole community and the businesses that they're going to work in that day. Committed partners. When I mentioned embarking on this journey and not knowing what I'd gotten myself into, the idea was that Metro would really garner about 2/3 of the support and leave me with about 1/3 of the support needed from the local community. I'm not great at math, but I think you can look and see how lopsided we are of community support as opposed to statewide support. And while it was daunting as we started the process, I think what we have found is that this will allow the longevity of these programs to really be supported from this point forward. The commitment that we've seen from the local community and the ability to really showcase the options that are right here in their own backyard, as opposed to, you know, ABC company in Atlanta, a Delta Airlines, you know, a Home Depot, you name it. It's just not as authentic as us being able to recognize those jobs opportunities that are right here in our backyard. So I'm very, very proud of this slide. When you see Chick-fil-A, this is our local owner operators, guys. This is not Chick-fil-A corporate. I think it is really important to point out that they had to come together, the students that they're serving that will come to our facility, and put that money up for that sponsorship. So, you know, we are always recognize philanthropy in all of our simulations. That's something they have to do, whether there is a specific place to go to or not. They set aside time, talent, treasure as they go through simulation. But our Community Foundation and United Way have come together to partner to actually have a space where our children get to make those decisions. And of course, you see Alliant Health Plans. Fun story, Dalton State College and GNTC embarked on this journey as a possible partnership. We were able to get them both on site of our North Georgia facility, and all of a sudden they said, well, we can do our own storefront. You know, this is what, so it was neat to see that come together, and what a wonderful way that we get to showcase the breadth of options after high school, as opposed to just those technical careers or those that would be available at Dalton State College. Engineered Floors is our capital, our major capital donor for this facility. They were in our North Georgia facility. They got a taste of what it was like to be in that facility, and it's been fun to go through the process of designing this storefront for them, because of course you learn so much. You learn what the students engaged with, and getting to make tweaks based upon that. Fort of Dalton, I think this is a wonderful example of really why I think we think of selling a product, you know, BizTown. I think that's the initial assumption that that's what we're doing, but showcasing the workforce that's needed for the future, and then simultaneously looking at how we are telling that story about supporting local is really, really important. And I think we're achieving that really well with graphics and everything for Fort of Dalton. Georgia Power, of course, that's a statewide organization coming on board. Georgia United Credit Union would be the same. Hamilton Healthcare has an interesting place in simulation. They represent that's life, all the things that we cannot anticipate that are going to happen to us each and every day, and that broken arm or the baby or whatever that is, the car wreck, all of those things that we have to think about in our personal budgets to account for it, that just are, that's life. Marketing Alliance Group, as you can all imagine, is doing a beautiful job bringing their vision to life. They are actually representing in Finance Park, grocery, and clothing. So all of our kids, I would say few of our kids at least, have an understanding of really the companies that they provide services for. And so it's really bringing to life what they're able to do from a marketing standpoint to companies that they interact with each and every day. Mercedes is actually Mercedes USA. Again, just a great statewide partner that tries to come along with us as we grow. And so we're thankful to have that support from them. Dalton Utilities, OptiLink, we have had a very fun time defining all of the services that Dalton Utilities has to offer. And again, really just making sure that we have that community approach to those line items that we talk about in Finance Park. Kelly is one of my, we have gone on many a tour. I think probably by the time all is said and done, she'll have seen all of our facilities. So just the thought and attention to detail that all of our partners are putting into this process is very unique, guys, to what we've seen in our other 3 facilities. Very often corporations have graphics to throw up. They have perhaps a way that they are involved in retail in some capacity. And there's very little thought about how they have that brand image. A lot of us are not creating it from the ground up, but certainly tailoring it to what a middle schooler needs to see to make it the most impactful experience for them. Shaw Industries is our career center. So they'll actually represent all the career clusters for the state of Georgia and how the jobs at Shaw can correlate to those career clusters. So that is kind of their unique spin on their storefront. And then finally, you have Star Matthews there again, you know, Calhoun-based company, but one that has a presence in Dalton, but absolutely just a regional, you know, player in this game and wanting to support the education community. So we are very excited to have Star Matthews, and Marketing Alliance has done a fantastic job, as we say, of making insurance fun. It seems daunting, but really they do bring to life what a 6th and 8th grader needs to see to make this experience meaningful to them. And finally, our most recent partner, I'm sorry, I have actually 2 more. Textile Rubber Chemical Company came on board, and there again, there's some creativity, but this ability to showcase some of the STEAM careers that are so important for our students to understand, and really something that you have to give them that end product for them to understand what those STEAM careers really do, is a wonderful addition to our committed partner lineup. City of Dalton has a very unique position too. The Marcus Foundation in Atlanta actually provides the funding for us to do elevated civics lessons in our facilities. Talk about the importance of going to vote. They all will wear an "I voted" sticker when they go to BizTown. And so City of Dalton just gets to bring that brand to life. So the manner in which they do that and showcase what is available in their community when people from all over Northwest Georgia come to our facility is something that we were really excited. So while they represent the branding of that storefront, you then have the Marcus Foundation coming in and providing those elevated civics lessons. And volunteers, y'all knew I was going to ask something of you while I was here. Volunteers truly are what bring the experience to life from our students. It is not just corporate volunteers that we need. It is our all of our volunteers from our college partners. And we come together, and our parent volunteers. We say a good volunteer, if you have had a job and you've paid a bill, you make a good volunteer. I don't care if you've made good decisions or bad decisions along the way, the kids glean something from that experience. So this is a very quick snapshot of what a day at the Discovery Center volunteering looks like.
So, you want to help out by volunteering with Junior Achievement? First things first, we can't do it without you. Every day, more than 100 students come through this space, and without you, it remains just that, a space. Your energy, positive attitude, and life experiences bring stimulation to life. It's your stories that will help them truly understand the concepts, and those stories are the ones that will last in their minds. So let's talk about the practical questions you have. How prepared do I need to be, and what exactly would I be doing? You just need to bring yourself, your energy, and your smile. There's nothing to prepare for, just show up and be you. You'll guide a small group of students through a simulation that will feel a lot like the experiences you encounter every day. You will help them avoid the mistakes you made and share wisdom you've picked up along the way. Before you do any of that, we'll get to forever. Because what you do today is going to be life-changing.
So Maya is still with the JA organization. That was a video a couple years back from our downtown facility. They unfortunately are not able to run programs through the end of the school year. Atlanta Public Schools has made that decision that they will not be going off site. A positive in that is that she actually is going to come to our facility, train our assemblies locally. She has just a tremendous amount of experience. I hope you can tell from that video, a contagious personality, and we're just very lucky to have that support from Atlanta. So, you know, she recapped a few of these things. What's my role? You get on site around 8 in the morning. That would be for a new volunteer. There are returning volunteers. We are very good to our returning volunteers, and we do not make you arrive as early. So you've already had that training, so you come on site closer to time when our students get there. And then it is about a 4.5 hour simulation. We do feed you. We like to keep our volunteers caffeinated and fed. And then all the training that is necessary for the simulation is provided that day. So that's really what it takes. Again, if you've ever had a job, paid a bill, you're good to go. So this is actually a picture, Dr. Scott and I were talking about it on the way here. We're just trying to keep up with the progress that Carroll Daniel Construction Company is making on our facility. Drywall went up last week, and so we're going, decisions, Kelly can attest to this, Jason can attest to this. We're making decisions very fast just because the facility is moving along so quickly, which is obviously a great problem to have. This is a rendering of the facility once it is completed. All the beautiful exterior. It matches the Hammond Creek campus. It's a gorgeous, if you haven't had a chance, take a left off the bypass, take a look really quickly and do a quick U-turn. It is worth it to just see where they are with the project. So what's left? How can y'all help me aside from volunteering? We do still have some opportunities. The capital support necessary for this facility was over a $3 million project, just a hair over $3 million. We were able to raise 2.75 on the front end of this project, leaving some work that had to be done on the back end. We're 97% of the way there, so we're very, very proud of that. But there are ways to have a permanent piece in the facility. So this is something like you can see here, the train tunnel, the stage podium. There are street names, building names, railroad plaques, the courtyard, tables that are actually in the simulation area. And finally, the train tunnel plaque is an individual giving opportunity where we're doing the peacock, like y'all seen downtown. The same artist is doing a smaller one for us so that we have that opportunity to have a feather on that peacock so that you have just a lasting mark of your contribution on the facility itself. And then businesses still have ways to engage. A storefront is not the only way. We greet our students every morning with a beautiful video welcoming them to Boomtown, our finance park, and it's a great way to market, get some brand recognition from your local business and support a partnership area that matters to you. So if you are a company that is based in Murray County, on the 12 days that it takes to go through Boomtown or Finance Park, you can actually have your name welcoming students to that specific school. So that is a wonderful way to have some brand recognition, support what we do. Our students and teachers or schools do not pay anything to come to our facility. They are only required to provide that transportation. So it really does allow us to not only pay for the curriculum, but the facility itself and the programs that we run. And finally, we will have in place of our typical Hall of Fame that we have every year, we are going to have a grand opening event called Discover the Experience. And it will actually allow everyone to come into our facility, get a snapshot of what a day in simulation looks like through a video, because we are obviously going to ensure that we keep all social distancing protocols in place where we need to be for March. And the tables available are actually reside in our storefront. So let's say, Bill, that you bought a table, you could perhaps be in Port of Dalton space. So it doesn't correlate to who is actually sponsoring that space. but it allows you to sit in the same place as those students do and experience that with us. So that's on March 4th, 2021. And we will start serving students a week later and welcome our first group of students in March. So we're very excited. Thank y'all for your time, and I would love to answer any questions y'all might have.
Where in is Hammond Creek?
Good question. Good question. So there will be a reconfiguration, and Dr. Scott, you can pipe up if I say anything incorrectly here, that will be taking place. And so that's the 670 campus on the, if you're heading out the bypass on the left-hand side, directly across from the existing middle school campus. Beautiful facility, easy to see from the road. So if you're heading out the bypass, take a look on that left-hand side.
Anna, I was out of the room when you mentioned, but I caught the tail end of something about civics lessons in the Commons.
Yeah.
Do you mind repeating that?
No, not at all. And that actually probably is something, I know that came online after our initial conversation. So the Marcus Foundation in Atlanta is supporting for every facility to do an elevated civics lessons that will take place in JA this town. So they wanted a hub for that to happen. So that's why we have City Hall, regardless of whether or not the city of Dalton or any of the other city, county governments chose to participate. But then there was a branding opportunity for that City Hall, and that was something that Dalton City decided to do. But then the Marcus Foundation is actually the one funding those elevated civics lessons.
Terrific.
Yeah, so they'll do voting. They actually have voting booths. They talk through that and just the role that government plays in their community.
Anna, you probably made this crystal clear. I apologize.
Probably not. Go for it.
Will this program, which I endorse tremendously, will it actually supplant and take some of the place of the normal academic day at Hammond Creek or wherever?
Great question. So for all of our middle school partners, there are about 17 in-class lessons, 45 minutes each, that align to the Georgia Standards of Excellence that are taught before they ever step foot on our campus. So they complete those and actually learn the vocabulary, all the terms they need to be successful in simulation. Again, not putting something else on our teachers, but aligning them to those standards so that they are not teaching above and beyond, but are able to correlate those so that they are prepared for simulation.
Okay.
It's actually something we teach now. It's ongoing, but then this gives them an actual experience when we get there. And we're so excited to partner with them because the new 10-12 that'll be opening up out at that site as well is also leadership and business driven as well.
So the in-class curriculum, in a large part, is taking place with a subset of students right now. Of course, Dalton Public Schools would be a caveat to that because they already have an MOU with JA, so they're doing it across all 6th and all 8th grade students, and that's the goal for all of our school systems. Anything else I can answer?
In the facilities that are on, well, whether they're working this day and age or not,
Right.
I don't know. But have you found that the students, the average 6th, 7th grader, 8th grade, whatever, is totally oblivious to real everyday economics? That you can't spend more than you make, and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly you can tell the level of preparation that they come into the capstone program with. Of course, you're going to have schools that are more supportive in that process than others, but I do think it ends up being a huge aha moment for our students to go, wow, mom or dad worked really hard to allow me to have X, Y, or Z. Or simple things like, well, I just won't give a cell phone to my kid when they're going through Finance Park. Well, don't you have a cell phone? I can see it up there. Yeah, but I need a cell phone. You start having some of those conversations with the students or hopping on the school bus and looking at the school bus driver. What's your credit score? Inappropriate, but glad you asked. Glad you're thinking toward that. So yeah, there are those aha moments that we get to see and experience every day.
I noticed on the side, you said coming of 21.
Mhm.
The school is like fall of 21.
Yes, they'll actually be opening, going up in March, right?
So you'll be having programming even before they're having next door.
And that's the great thing about being freestanding is we do have our own point of access there. So the goal was to get the school systems we're currently going to North Georgia off the road as quickly as possible. So with construction where it was, we wanted to ensure that we pulled at least those two districts off the road for this year.
Hammond Creek, even though they're opened up, we still have our own security to put in the once finishes that we do. So that takes us a few months into the.
We have a little bit less to put into our facility.
And we just hold on here. It's just, it wouldn't have happened without your energy. You know, that. We just all thank you.
I just want to echo that. Thank you, Anna. Your hard work, and it's an exciting program. I can't wait to see it in action.
I can't wait to see all of y'all's volunteers.
All right. Well, our next meeting will be November the 10th, 2 weeks from today. Chuck Payne will be our featured speaker, and then 2 weeks after that, it's November the 24th. We'll have Don Martin coming in to speak to us about the Rotary Foundation. So that's our next two. So that takes us a month out of the next two meetings. But we'll stand and do the pledge to the flag. Let me pull it out. Pledge it up in view. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. The things we say or do, truth, fair, honest, concern, will be build goodwill and better friendships. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? See you guys in 2 weeks.